All right, you guys, last but not least, Terrence Bud Crawford, Israel Madrimov. Crawford wins a decision, all right? I believe 115, 113 for two judges. And I think we had a 116, 112 in there for one draw. And Crawford is now the WBA World Super Champion at 154 and also now a four division champion. All right, so let's talk about the fight. All right, now you guys were here. I thought the fight was close. I scored it on the night of the fight, 8 rounds to 4. I believe I had one swing round in there. It could be, 7-5, 8 rounds to 4, but like a clear 8 round to 4, 7-5 for me. I don't think Madrimov won the fight. I don't think it was a draw. If you want to make the argument that Bud needed to do more to take the belt from the champ, that's on you. But as far as official scoring, at least for me, that's the way I had it. And look, it was a super highly technical fight. Okay, not a lot of action, not a lot of exchanges between the two. They were both looking to counter, and sometimes that happens. I think Madrimov went in there with the right game plan, overly feinting. And I think the feints from him and the level changing just threw off Crawford a little bit, because he didn't want to get caught. It reminded me, and it's funny because Velasquez is who we were just talking about, in the final prediction video I did, we were just talking a lot about that fight specifically, and also the Jose Benavidez fight as well, which was another fight where Crawford fought against a more patient fighter, which forced him to lead and which forced him to get countered at times. I think Madrimov did the same thing that those guys did, but he took it to another level and remained patient and looked for the right opportunities to counter or catch Crawford with the lead straight right hand. He didn't make many mistakes in the fight. He lunged in maybe a once or twice and got caught, but it wasn't enough for him to get hurt by a shot or anything like that. And that's the one thing I would say with Madrimov in this fight here is that I think he was a little too patient, He just did not want to get caught and clipped. He had a lot of respect for Crawford and his power. And I just think he wasn't aggressive enough. But if he was a little bit more aggressive, he might have got caught himself. The straight right was definitely the best shot. When he led with it, when he countered with it, he was on point. Crawford got hit with a lot of those in this fight. Okay. Very competitive fight, very close rounds. And I think that's why there's a little bit of controversy on how people felt about this fight, because we haven't seen Crawford in this close of a fight in a very long time. Okay. Velasquez had some success, but he still got stopped after a few rounds. Okay? So even though that fight was close, I felt like this fight was clearly much closer and more competitive. Porter was competitive as well, but Crawford was never any real danger. You know what I mean? And he got Porter out of there when he was ready to. I would have to go back to the Gamboa fight, because at least with Gamboa, not only did Gamboa win the first 3 rounds or so straight, he was outboxing Crawford early, but he was able to hurt Crawford in that fight as well. Outside of that, this is definitely Crawford's most difficult fight with my eyes, and it has a lot to do with the styles, the game plan of Madrimov. I don't want to take anything away. Yes, there's size and, going up in a new division, and Crawford age might play a part in it. I don't think it's just one thing. I think Madrimov had a great game plan. He is the bigger guy. He is the true super welterweight. Some of those shots that he took would have been knockout shots for other fighters. You know, what hurt Kell Brook in their fight didn't hurt Madrimov in this fight. Why? Because Madrimov is fresher, he's younger, and he's the natural 154-pounder. So he showed his durability, he showed his boxing IQ, and he showed us that he can at least compete with Terrence Crawford. All right, so I don't want to sit here and point fingers on why, who, this excuses and stuff. The fight was a good fight because he fought a good opponent. And even though his name is in Errol Spence, and this is what I said, all of these things I said prior to the fight. If you just thought that Crawford was going to run through this guy, then this is why you think Crawford looked bad. Because you underestimated Israel Madrimov. Okay? If you underestimated his size, if you underestimated his skills, this is why people are disappointed with the performance of Terrence Crawford. Because you didn't have high expectations for this opponent. And that's it. And it's okay. It's part of the game. It happens. I did it with the previous fight with Jose Valenzuela. You know, I slept on him. It happens. It's part of the game. But Madrimov was clearly, and the rest of this division, it doesn't get any easier. If Crawford goes up and fight Canelo, obviously that's a difficult fight to win. But like I said prior to the fight, 154 is a difficult, and the most dangerous, in my opinion, the most dangerous division in all of boxing. Because no one stays undefeated long. The titles changes hands very quickly. And Crawford just cracked one piece of the puzzle. I said to you guys as well, even if Crawford wins this fight, I am not sure that he beats the rest of the best at 154. This is just one piece. And before we go into either overrating Madrimov or just saying that Crawford is done, if Madrimov goes on to beat a Tim Tszyu or a Buchachuk or Virgil Ortiz or Jamel Charlo, then it's not going to look so bad. But it was a close fight with close rounds. Even if you score 8-4 like I did, the rounds are close. I'm talking about 1 or 2 punches off. You know, if there's an extra or 1 or 2 extra punches landed by Madrimov in some of these rounds, I would have gave the rounds to him. You know? But for the most part, I thought Crawford was still, I think he worked harder. I think he outworked him. I think he outlanded him. You know, I think he just was more consistent throughout the fight. And I think he fairly won the fight. You guys got to remember, this is what happens when you're a top guy and you struggle a little bit in a fight. It happened with every other generational great we've seen. It just happened with Inoue when he fought Neri. No one expected Neri to drop him, but Neri dropped him. Was Neri the best fighter he's ever fought? I don't think so, but it happens. It's just a close fight. All right. Good fight. What I would love? Well, I would love to see unification. You know, Turki Al-Sheikh is saying that he sent Canelo an offer. If Canelo takes the offer, we'll get Crawford and Canelo at 168. If not, I would like Crawford to unify, you know, with the Virgil Ortiz Buchachuk winner. You know, that's a good fight. Or unify with whoever else is available. You know, we have other champions there. So I'm cool with unification. You know, but I would love to see at 154. I think the Virgil Ortiz fight would be a bigger fight. Jamel Charlo he has a name, but he doesn't have a belt. So I'm going to stick with Virgil Ortiz. Um, some people are going to still say Boots, and Boots is at 147. If Turkey or somebody proposes a fight and actually sends an offer for the both of them, then let them fight. I would love to see that fight still. But let's talk about Canelo. Now, for Bud's sake, I like the fight. His hype, his popularity has grown in the later fourth quarter of his career. So would I love him to get a huge money fight? Yes. I would love him to get a big money fight with a Canelo Alvarez. A name like that would be great. For his legacy. Obviously, if he wins, it would probably be one of the biggest wins that we've seen in a long time if he were to win. But it's worth the risk because of the amount of money he would get paid. But like I said to you guys before, I like when fighters can prove and show us that they're the best in their division before we talk about jumping up multiple divisions to take a fight. I've been like that, and I've been consistent throughout my entire YouTube boxing channel career. All right? It doesn't change for Crawford. I know it's a big money, so if you get the phone call, take it. Just like Berlanga just took it. If you get the call, take the fight. But the reality is, Crawford was the first to ever say there are weight divisions for a reason. And even though he's changed his mind, and that's cool, because there's a lot of fans that were saying he can beat Canelo, and maybe he can. I do think he's more talented than Canelo. But there's not that much of a gap in skill between the two, in my opinion. And the gap here is the gap in size. And even though Crawford is a very strong fighter, I know he's a durable fighter, and he's got the skills to beat Canelo. Canelo is at 168 and punches hard at 168. Not at 147, not at 154, at 168. He has knocked out top fighters at 168. Knocked them out. Guys that are much bigger than Crawford. Guys that are bigger than Canelo. So if the fight happens, cool. I love it. I will be excited and can't wait to see it. But the way I am, yes, I wanted the Benavidez fight more. I would have loved to see the Morrell fight. Why? Because those are top big guys at 168. So I wanted to see those fights for more. Same thing with Crawford. I want to see the Virgil Ortiz fight more because I want to see who's the top guy at 154. I want to see who's the top guy at 168. But I still want to see it. And even with this performance, I don't have a problem with the performance from neither. I don't have a problem with Crawford and him struggling a little bit in this fight because his opponent was very, very good. He's just not popular. Canelo is not the same kind of fighter as Madrimov. All right, he's not that, but he has different dangers. There's things that he does differently. And it can either work for him or not work for him. All right, but it's not going to change anything for me. I'm leaning towards Canelo because of the size mainly. The size, the power, the IQ. Even though I think Crawford has a greater IQ, size does come into play. So if they have that fight, cool. Next, that's good. All right, but I like to see top fighters in the same division go at it first. That's just how I am. But now that an offer has been made, because that's what Turki Al-Sheikh says, even though Canelo denies it today on a press conference with Berlanga, they should keep moving forward. Don't back up now. All the talk has been done between the fans between the fighters. If Canelo takes the fight with Crawford, don't back up now. Don't back up now. Don't change your tune. Because these are the points that were brought up before the fight with Madrimov. Is his punching power going to be effective at 154? Is it going to be effective at 168? Against Canelo, who is also one of the most durable fighters in all of boxing. All right, so I'm not changing my tune. All I'm saying is I'm just repeating everything that I said prior to this fight. All right, but there's still many questions to be answered because we still don't know who's the best at 154. We saw one fight. There's still a lot of other guys at the division. But Madrimov, as high as I had him, and I knew he was going to be dangerous, I even respect him more because he fought a disciplined fight. And I thought he was going to start making a bunch of mistakes at some point. He didn't. Because I've seen other mistakes. I've seen him lunging. You know? I've seen him doing things that were technically wrong in previous fights. I rarely seen it in this fight. So he improved for this fight, as he should. And he fought a good fight. So I'm not writing him off. And I'm not writing off Crawford because he had a tough fight. Last year's fight was his most impressive fight. You think in 1 year now he's old? No. He just fought someone that was good and durable. And he's at a new division. So that's the way I'm looking at it, right? Anyway, that's it with the recaps, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you again for everyone that was here on a live commentary the other day. And I'll see you guys on the next one. We got Virgil Ortiz against Serhii Bohachuk this weekend. So expect a breakdown. Hopefully I'll have it done by tomorrow. And I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good one. Peace.